Hi, I'm Amanda and welcome to All Access Eats. Some of you may already know me as an actress, a filmmaker, and the daughter of Meatloaf, but what you might not know about me is that I have a passion for cooking. I especially love cooking for my friends and family. See, I grew up traveling the world on tour with my dad, and some of my earliest childhood family meal memories come from those that we had backstage with Dad's band and crew. And some of my earliest culinary experiences come from learning to cook those comfort foods from chefs all around the world. So I'm here to share some of those tour stories and those recipes with all of you. So I've talked a lot about my childhood on tour and growing up and how nights off meant going up to Dad's room in our PJs for family night. Well, childhood on tour grew into adulthood on tour. So nights off didn't always mean family night. Sometimes nights off mean going out to a bar and having a few or more cocktails. So I'm here to show you my take on a very traditional Indian curry dish, Murgh Makhani, or butter chicken. Let's get started. So I've preheated my pan, and I'm going to start by giving it just a bit of olive oil and a good tablespoon of butter. And we're going to start by cooking our chicken thighs. So this is not an authentic butter chicken dish. Traditionally, these chicken thighs would have been marinated overnight and then cooked in a tandoor, and you'd have lots of smoky flavors and all kinds of stuff going on. This is I've come home, I'm a little intoxicated, and I want some curry. How do we make this happen super fast? So that's the recipe I'm showing you. So I'm just going to salt the chicken a little bit. So we're just trying to get a nice little brown on the outside of this chicken. It's going to finish cooking in the sauce later on. So this is just our little starting point. These are done. We're going to set these aside, and they are going to be chopped up in a minute so that they are ready for the sauce. But now we're moving on to the curry, and this is where I stay authentic as far as I know. So I'm going to start with one whole onion sliced. So I'm not worried about whether or not these are sliced or diced or super thin, because later on we're going to take this bad boy for a spin. So if you saw all the frond, as it were called, all of the brown bits of the chicken that stuck to the bottom of the pan, I do this all in one pan because, as you can see, the juice and the acidity from this onion is doing a really good job deglazing it, so I still get all the flavor from all those brown bits in my curry. So now, as this continues to cook, I'm going to add 3 bay leaves, 2.5. I don't want these onions fully caramelized, but I do want them nice and translucent and soft before I move on. So in this combination of spices, I have coriander, cumin, turmeric, cinnamon, and paprika. And all of the amounts and measurements I'm going to list on my blog. So we're just going to add all of this in. Now this is starting to smell familiar. We're going to add just a little bit more butter in there. This is butter chicken after all. Just to keep things nice and lubricated. Next up, a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. It reminds me of a happy nights out on tour, having a good time with my friends, having a few drinks, getting some curry. The best. So next, going into the pot, this is 1.5 cups of tomatoes, fresh from my garden. You can totally use diced, but I have a plethora of fresh tomatoes right now, so they're going in. And before I added them, I did salt the tomatoes like you've seen me do before. And finally, 2 cups of chicken broth. So I'm just going to let all of these ingredients in here Simmer for about 10 minutes, let all those flavors come together. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up my chicken thighs. And we'll be right back. All right, so our curry has had a chance to sit and simmer. I'm just gonna pull these bay leaves out before I go ahead with the immersion blender. So we've got all the bay leaves out. Now time for the immersion blender. So I put like all those big chunky tomatoes and onions in because I didn't care, because now we're going to make everything super creamy with our immersion blender. This looks pretty good to me. Nice and creamy. So many flavors going on. Now I'm going to add a bit of salt. Now we're just going to drop the chicken into our curry. Perfect. I'm going to bring this back up to a simmer, and I'm just going to let the chicken cook in this curry sauce for a good 20 minutes. While the chicken is cooking in the sauce, I'm going to go ahead and make some basmati rice to serve with our butter chicken. So here it is, our buttered chicken that's been simmering. Oh, as soon as I lift that, I can smell all of those spices, the cinnamon, the turmeric, what else? So much in there. The coriander, it smells amazing. Speaking of all those spices that I'm smelling, so all the spices that we initially put in there, those were all raw. Cinnamon, coriander, cumin, all of that. This here, the final spice or spices, this is garam masala. And garam masala literally translates to warmed spices in, I believe, Punjab. Please correct me though on that one. So what's happened here is that someone else has taken all of those individual spices and ground them and toasted them. So there's also cardamom, there's cloves, so much amazing flavor. And this is the final spice we're going to add to this. It always comes in last because it's already been toasted, already been cooked, all these spices. Smells amazing. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of garam masala. Of course, it's butter chicken, so we're going to add 2 more tablespoons of butter. Measuring butter from an Amish log is a little bit difficult, but we're just going to go by my eyes. And then finally, a cup of heavy cream. And we're going to get everything stirred in here. Now that we've added the heavy cream, we don't want it to boil again, but we do want everything to come together. Oh, it smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this through your computers. And like I said, this isn't an authentic Murgh Makhani. To do that, I need a tandoor, I need 2 days, etc., etc. This is just to satisfy those curry cravings when you're at home and, you know, you don't want to take 2 days to cook. You can whip this up in about an hour. And I promise it will satisfy. All right, I'm going to taste this real quick. But I don't think it needs anything else. That is perfect. I'm going to go get a big bowl of rice. So here it is. Everything's come together now with the butter and the cream and the garam masala. I am going to put this over some rice that I cooked while the chicken was finishing up. Gorgeous. Let's try it. Good sized bite of this. Such a comforting dish. It's creamy and rich, but I've got all the freshness of the tomato, the ginger, and the garlic, and then all of these gorgeous spices in there. Everything's all coming together. It is the perfect, perfect little bowl of happiness. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions, check out my blog, and be sure to tune in next time for more stories and recipes from the road.